I doubt there are any homeschool moms out there who made it through the month of June without stocking up on some of the books and homeschool supplies that were on sale everywhere online. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name is Sarah. I'm the homeschool mom to 5 kids, and like so many of you, I went a little bit nuts during the month of June and purchased a lot of books and homeschool supplies while they were on sale on Amazon and on other sites. So today I thought I would just go through some of the things I purchased. I really enjoy watching videos like this from other moms' channels. It gives me inspiration and ideas of things that maybe I would like to collect for my homeschool. All right, so as I was shopping the online sales, I did have a few goals in mind. I splurged on some things, let's be honest, but I did have a couple of things I was looking for. First of all, novels for my middle schoolers, for my 12 and 13-year-old. I was just looking for some new titles to kind of spruce up their literature shelf in our schoolroom, give them some new inspiration for some summer reads. I was also shopping for some books for myself, for mama, just a little bit of homeschool mom homework. Each summer, I like to try to tackle 1 or 2 titles on my homeschool to read list, just to kind of keep things fresh and encouraging and inspired for as I am planning for our next school year. So I have some books that I am planning to read myself. And then of course, I had some splurge items, some things that I just purchased because they were such a good deal. A few things for my toddlers, a board book, some supplies, and then just some general items for our homeschool. All right, so let's not waste any more time. Let's just make our way through these stacks. All right, let's see if I can get myself situated here. Okay, first up, we have Esperanza Rising. This is by Pam Munzo Ryan. I have seen so many homeschool mamas recommending this book to be used as a read aloud or for a middle school or high school read. So I picked this up to add to our literature shelves. If the kids don't read this on their own this summer, I am planning on using this as a family read aloud in the fall. Next up, we have The Vanderbeekers of 141st Street. This is by Karina Jan Glaser or Glaser. I'm going to butcher these authors' names. I apologize. I will do my best. But again, this is just one I have seen circulating through the homeschool moms, and so thought I would add it to our shelf as well. This next one I've actually seen a lot of mixed reviews about. This is The Secret Zoo by Brian Chick. I may go ahead and pre-read this before I hand it over to my middle schoolers, but one of the main characters' name is Noah, which is my oldest son's name. So I'm hoping that this will be a good fit for our family. We'll see. Next up is The 100 Dresses. I honestly cannot believe we don't already own this and that my kids have not read this. Now, this is not exactly a middle school novel. I mean, it is more of a picture book or a long storybook. It does have some chapters in it, but my older kids could read this in a couple of days. So this will be a nice, quick, easy read, but it has wonderful lessons about bullying. So excited for The 100 Dresses. This next one I have heard is a great book for book lovers like ourselves. This is Pages and Company, The Book Wanderers, and I believe this is part of a series, so I'm really hoping my kids will sink their teeth into this. But it is about a little girl named Tilly who, as she is in her grandmother's bookshop, discovers that characters from her favorite books like Anne of Green Gables and Alice in Wonderland are coming to life and coming to the shop, and she is somehow being able to travel into their stories with them. So I think that this will be a great book, especially for my daughter Leah. So looking forward to The Book Wanderers. This is by Anna James. Now, you guys have heard me talking a lot about this series on my channel lately, the Wing Feather Saga. Noah has just been flying through this. He's my 13, almost 14-year-old son. And so I went ahead and picked him up book number 3, The Monster in the Hollows. Speaking of Noah, this next set, I haven't even taken the plastic off of it yet, but I went ahead and got the I Survived series. I think there are the first 10 books in here. He really ate these up when we were doing a few of our Gather Round units this past year. We read the entire I Survived the Eruption of Mount St. Helens in one day this spring, and so that really just got him interested in these books, and he wants to read all of them. So I went ahead and picked up this 10-pack. It was on sale, so it was a really great deal. I think it was like $35 for all of these. These next 4 books I picked up for my teens and tweens, not necessarily for their summer reading for literature. I'm probably going to put this on their Bible book reading lists for next school year. First of all, I picked up 2 books for Leah. The first one is Lies Girls Believe and the Truth That Sets Them Free. This is by Dana Gresh. It also has Nancy DeMoss Wogelmoth. She is the editor of this. These are 2 women that I just so highly respect. So I'm excited to read this book alongside of Leah. I think it is a great book to read if you have a daughter who is entering those tween and teen years. The other Bible related book that I went ahead and picked up for Leah was actually recommended on the Risen Motherhood website. If you've never checked out their podcast, Risen Motherhood, cannot recommend it enough. It is probably my favorite podcast out there right now. But this is Growing in Godliness, a Teen Girl's Guide to Maturing in Christ by Lindsay Carlson. So I'm really excited for Leah to dig into this book, maybe first or second semester of this next school year. For Noah, for my 13, almost 14-year-old son, I wanted to pick up a couple Bible-themed books for him to read this year as well. So first one is This Changes Everything, How the Gospel Transforms the Teen Years. This is not exclusively for boys. When Noah is done reading this, I will probably have him pass it along to Leah. But again, recommended on the Risen Motherhood podcast on their website. So I think that this will be a great book for him to read in his early teen years. Now, I actually don't know very much about this book. This is another one that I will probably very heavily peruse before I hand it over to my teen. But this is The Guy's Guide to God, Girls, and the Phone in Your Pocket, 101 Real-World Tips for Teenage Guys by Jonathan McKee. This is not like a deep theological book like this other one I purchased for him is. This is more of just a quick devotional guide. They're each about 1 to 2 pages long. So I'm going to flip through this before I hand it off to Noah, but I'm hoping that this will be a good read for him. All right, so moving on to the part of the stack that I purchased for myself, for the homeschool mom in the house. This first one is The Enchanted Hour, The Miraculous Power of Reading Aloud in the Age of Distraction. This is by Megan Cox Gordon, and honestly, I have already read about half of this book. I had checked it out from our local library and I was just devouring it. And as I was reading, I quickly decided that I wanted to own a copy for myself, not only because I wanted to support Megan, but also because I wanted to highlight and take notes and be able to reference this book. I first heard about this from the Read Aloud Revival podcast from Sarah Mackenzie. She had Megan on as a guest earlier this year. And Megan was a Wall Street Journal columnist, and she wrote this book all about the way reading aloud, specifically to children, deals with our brain development and our behavior, and it is wonderful. If you are looking for encouragement to read aloud to your children, check out this book. It is awesome. Homeschool Bravely by Jamie Erickson, How to Squash Doubt, Trust God, and Teach Your Child with Confidence. This has been on my homeschool mom reading list for a while. I have actually followed Jamie for years, a really, really long time. I used to read her blog, and actually she was one of the very first YouTube homeschool moms that I ever watched. Years ago, when I was first starting out, I watched one of her videos about how to organize your homeschool year, and it was so inspiring. And so I'm really excited to read this book. I know that a lot of homeschool mamas out there highly recommend it. Along that same vein, I have The Brave Learner, Finding Everyday Magic in Homeschool Learning and Life by Julie Bogart. Honestly, I cannot believe I have not read this book yet and that I haven't purchased it previously. I have heard so much about this book. It has been on my to-read list for a long time, so I'm excited to dig into this. If you have been around my channel very long, you know that I love Sally Clarkson. I've read just about everything her and Clay have written. Honestly, role models of mine. I would love to meet them in person someday or just have a conversation with them. That is honestly one of my dreams. But I have never read the Educating the Wholehearted Child, Wholehearted Christian Home Education for ages 4 to 14. This is by Clay, but also with Sally Clarkson. I have checked this book out from the library. I have perused it many of times, but I'm excited to own it and actually read it cover to cover. All right, so this last one on my mom book list is not a homeschool book, but just a gardening book. I have purchased this a few times and I keep gifting it and giving it away. So this is my copy. I am writing my name in it. I am keeping it. This is mine, but this is a brand new book. This is The First Time Gardener, Growing Vegetables, all the know-how and encouragement you need to grow and fall in love with your brand new food garden. This is by Jessica Sowards. She is from Roots and Refuge Farm. If you are interested in gardening, check out her YouTube channel, her and Jeremiah. It is a fabulous gardening channel, and it's so encouraging and just helps you to have so much confidence to get started. This book is just full of pictures and full of Jessica's passion for gardening. I love it. I know I'm going to continue to reference it for years and years. So I'm really excited to be able to support her and her channel and her family, but also this is going to be great for my backyard garden. All right, moving on to kind of the more miscellaneous stack. Some of these are supplies, some of these are toddler books, just kind of a gamut of different things. First of all, I picked up some of these Frixion Clicker erasable pens. I love these. I just ordered a couple of new planners. Gonna be telling you guys about that here in a few videos soon, but I wanted to have some new pens to go with it, and I like erasable pens because I tend to make mistakes. So I went ahead and picked up this 10-pack of all different colors. It was really on sale on Amazon, so this will be great for my planners. This is not a book, this is an activity. I picked this up for Ezra, my 3-year-old, but I am sure my 1-year-old will get into this, as well as Mariah, my 8-year-old. She really likes hands-on activities. But this is just like a little puzzle set where you can build letters in particular, but you can also build other designs and things like that. So I thought as I'm working on letters with Ezra, we can do some little puzzles and build these. This was on sale, I think it was $10, so really a reasonable price. Now, we have been working on teaching Ava, my 18-month-old, her body parts, and she loves to point to her nose and her ears and her eyes. And so this little board book, My Body by Jill McDonald, will be a perfect fit for her. It was part of the 3 for 2 sale. I also think this is on one of my preschool book lists. So this will be a great resource to have just around our homeschool, but for my baby, my toddler. Next up is an art picture book. Again, I think this is on one of my preschool reading lists, but Van Gogh and the Sunflowers by Lawrence Anholt. I have tried to check this out from our local library and have been on the wait list for, I think, 3 or 4 months now. I gave up waiting and decided to just purchase it for our homeschool. I love picture books, especially biography kind of picture books, and so this will be a great addition to our homeschool library. Now, I have talked about this book a lot here on my channel. You guys will probably be surprised that I did not own it myself, but this is Sing a Song of Seasons, a nature poem for each day of the year. I was continually checking this book out from our library. It was a little bit expensive of a book on Amazon, and so I wanted to wait for it to go on sale before I purchased a copy for ourselves. As you can see, it is massive picture book of nature poems, 365, one for every day of the year. I think I've checked this out from our library at least 10 or 11 times. So it's time for us to have our own copy. If you are interested in this book, I cannot recommend it enough. It is just a wonderful part of our morning time. All right, guys, well, that's it. That wraps up my big Amazon homeschool haul that I did in the month of June. So many of these books I was able to purchase during the 3 for 2 sale on Amazon, when you would buy 3 books for the price of 2 or buy 2, get 1 free. So that is why I have so many books here, probably more than I intended to purchase, because they were a steal. As always, if you enjoyed today's video, take just a second, like it, give it a thumbs up down below. While you're at it, be sure to subscribe to our channel and leave me a comment. Tell me something that you purchased for your homeschool during the month of June when everything seemed to be on sale. I hope that you guys are enjoying your summer. See you later. It is wonderful. I was actually introduced to it from the Read Aloud Revival. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay, so I'm home just with the toddlers. No one else is here. We have a fenced-in backyard, and I'm sitting right next to the window, and suddenly this huge shadow went across the window. I thought it was a person. It was a Walmart plastic bag flying through the wind, but it scared me. I thought someone was coming in the window at me. All right, let's try this again.